Today I'm here with Richard from Capatan Morgan's Wargames, and we're going to answer your Necron tactical questions. It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. And if you're new to the channel and you want to keep up to date with the Wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Right, today is a very special day because I'm here with Richard from Capatan Morgan's Wargames. Hello Richard.
Hello Nick.
So we have been playing against each other for quite some time now.
Yeah.
There's lots of games, mainly with my Necrons, and you also play against another buddy that plays Necrons as well.
I play Necrons. It's pretty much my main army I play against.
Yeah, and of course I am a Necron player, so it should be quite interesting. Richard goes to tournaments. I have been to 3 tournaments, but I'm not really a tournaments player. However, I've got a lot of experience with the army, and of course Richard's got a lot of experience seeing those top tier tournament lists out there. So hopefully with a combination of both of us we'll be able to answer some of your questions. So let's have a look at the first question. Okay, so first of all I just want to say a massive thank you for everyone that submitted a question. We had a good amount of questions. Yeah, and we're not going to be able to answer them all today, but we will split the series up into several videos with answering your questions, and if you have more questions to ask us, of course pop them down in the comments box below. So the first question that we are going to answer today is from Overlord Ryan, and he said, if Reanimation Protocol is not worth building around, is a Cryptic still worth it? I understand that he gives a 5+ invulnerable save, and I normally run Immortals with one 20-man warrior squad. So, is Chronometric Cryptic worth the points? So, Chronometron Cryptic, is it worth the points? Richard, what do you think?
Well, I think anything that gives you a 5+ invul, or any type of invul, is worth taking. I mean, and what is it, about 85 points?
Yeah. So
it's one of the cheap, it's still a relatively cheap HQ option for you. And as I said, you put that with Veil of Darkness, or even maybe the Deceiver, and you move them across the table and or something like that.
Necrons!
You're not relying on your armour save. You've got a backup.
Yeah.
And okay, there are some armies that can take away that invul, but they're not many, and it gives you an option. I think any invul save is worth.
Invuls are very useful, and obviously the RP bonus as well from him. And even if you're not taking Immortals and Warriors, I mean, if you're taking, say, Destroyers, for example, 5+ and invul on a Destroyer unit, pretty useful.
I would do with Destroyers, because they're going to be an immediate target, and they're going to put something that's got a high AP value on it. Having that invul saving on them is actually a very good idea.
Yeah. So in short then we think yes, it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
It is worth it. Okay, so the next question is from Savkar141, and he said, I have much trouble dealing with Eldar Jetbikes. They outrun me and they can shoot from much higher distance. Any advice how to deal with them? I don't have any destroyers in my country. They are very expensive. And yeah, I've heard that about destroyers being a problem to buy in some countries.
But yeah, and with the new GW pricing in other countries, it does get expensive. What I would say is if you can find somebody in the UK who is willing to buy them for you and then ship them, and just pay the extra on shipping, then that's the way to go. But yeah, I mean, normally I would have said Tomb Blades, Destroyers, and Doomsides, and the Triarch Stalker. Get a lot of movement in your list. I would use. I came across. I had a quick look through the Necron Codex before I came over and while I was checking the questions out, and you've got a stratagem in there, solar posts, one command point, It's an enemy unit, and that enemy unit doesn't get cover saves. So with those against Elder, that's highly thing, and I would use that on the unit, and I would slowly cut the board off, slowly cut their movement down. If you're using the Maelstrom of War, I would say stack the objectives close. The Elder player will want them spread out over the board, but if you've got them close together, and which means he hasn't got that ability to use his manoeuvrability, you've got a slight advantage there. And secondly, with the missions now, in the new chapter approved, most of them are at the end of a turn or end of second turn, so they're not going to be able to stay on objectives for 2 turns. They don't have the toughness or the durability to do that. So make them go first, then shoot them off the objectives, and play to that mission, and outscore them.
How about Wraith, do you think? Because obviously you've got Jinx, haven't they, Eldar?
Yeah, they've got the mortal wound output, they've got the ability to get rid of lessen the Wraith thing. But if you can get the Wraiths into combat, and again, if
Wraiths have the speed, don't they?
Yeah. Well, what you're wanting to do, because I wouldn't use Veil of Darkness, because they've got forewarned, and that would just decimate units. But I would be trying to get through their screens into those characters. Get rid of the buffs, get rid of the psychic. I'd take probably some scarabs to soak up the mortal wounds and the bits, but again, scarabs fly, they're fast moving, so you could probably do 3 max squads in an outrider like that, just to give you board control.
And Necrons can be very fast. Use the dynastic code, which lets you advance automatically 6 inches.
Yeah, you've really
fast.
You've really, range. Your range isn't good, but the Tomb Blades, the destroyers, for the fact that the destroyers can move and ignore movement penalties for the firing of heavy weapons, is good. But Tomb Blades and Solar Pulse on something else, because the Tomb Blades get the Nebula Scope that ignores cover anyway.
Yeah.
But you've then got, say, 3 units of Tomb Blades, and you're using the Solar Pulse on something else. That's 4 units, outer units, that aren't getting a bonus to their cover save. Take it as Mefrit with your Tesla, and you're all now hitting with a -1 AP. That they're 3+ saves going up to a 4+ save.
How about Doom Scythes? Because they're pretty speedy, aren't they?
I love the Doom Scythes. I love the fact that you move it 24 inches and you can get the mortal wounds out of it.
The 3 Doom Scythe stratagem. Yeah.
Or to be honest, if they're using things like fire prisms, the death rays on them, they're nasty. I'd have them, and they can't have the hemlocks. The downside to them is the toughness on them, but I think they're
pointed a bit better now, though, aren't they?
It's a swings and roundabouts. You're taking it for the ability to do mortal wounds and your movement. So you lose a little on toughness, but again, they're hard to hit, and if you can. You need 3 to do the mortal wounds, but if you, again, it's 3 targets they've got to kill.
Yeah.
One's easy to kill. Two's a little, is slightly difficult, but 3 is, in one turn, is going to be pretty much impossible.
Yep. Okay, I think that covers that one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at the next question. Okay, so next is from Pedro Dodero Escalante 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And he says, I want to stay away from the typical super optimal lists that everybody makes, like spam destroyers. I know they're the best list, have them for a reason, but I find that boring. What units, other than the most popular ones, can be viable? So this is an interesting question. I mean, ultimately, all the units can be viable. They're all usable.
Yeah, you've got to really sit down, look at the codex, look at the stratagems, and say what can I use and build them around. I mean, they're not. The reason destroyers are so popular, and I would put 3 units in a list all day long, is because they move without penalty and fire without penalty. They're 3 shots, so your max squad gives you 18 shots. They're good AP, D3 damage.
You've got the ones, and you've got extermination protocol,
and you've got the 2 strats.
Yeah.
There's
a reason why
the top competitive players use them.
Yeah. If you do find the units boring, though, it's a tough one, because the reason they're there because at the top end of the Necron list, because they are that good, along with Tomb Blades and Doomsday Arcs and all the rest of it.
And if you look at it, they're good against troops and hordes, and they're also good against vehicles and stuff. So, they have a multi use in the list, so you can use them whatever they come up against. It's not. I've got them in the list, and oh look, I'm not playing vehicles, so they're useless. But they still can be good against the Marines and Terminators, even just squads of Guardians or squads of Orcs.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, obviously there's alternatives. So say instead of 3 Doomsday Arcs, you could take maybe 3 squads of Heavy Destroyers. You know, everyone doesn't play Heavy Destroyers, and they can work. But ultimately, it depends what you want from the game. I think you made a good point. So when you're saying, when you first started going to tournaments, you went with the units and stuff that you wanted to play. Yeah,
I was a bit pragmatic. I didn't. There were units I liked, but they were in all the top tournaments, and I didn't want to be seen as just net listing, and so I took other units. And though I did well, to make that other step, I had to lose that pragmatism. And I understand it's not. It does get a bit repetitive, because you see it across the table from you all the time. But that's what happens
when I went to
tournaments.
That's what I enjoyed. You know, when I went with I think I had an MSU list at the time. Like loads of small squads, of wraiths. I think I had 6 squads of 3 wraiths, 6 squads of 3 scarabs. I can't remember the exact list, but it was totally different from all the other Necron players there, and that it was fun in itself. But you can't expect to necessarily do incredibly well.
No, I mean, if you've got a strong list and multiple tools in that list, then you can surprise.
And also it's down to the missions and your opponents.
I mean, I would just say, make sure whatever list you build, play to the mission, because that will win the game all day long.
Cover your bases really. You're going to need some anti-tank, monstrous creatures. You're going to need some anti-infantry, stuff to take objectives, some fast-moving stuff, and just make best use of your command points and your stratagems. Have it all pre-planned out, ready to go. Okay, right, so shall we have a look at the next question?
Yes.
Okay, so the next question is from Lord Cool 1, and that is a cool name. We like that. He says, I've been playing Necrons for just a little bit, and I kind of go with Immortals and Warriors, Doomsday Arcs and Destroyers. I'm kind of at that loss for what to take when it comes to melee. I have Wraiths, but that's about it. I feel like if a melee heavy army gets to me, I'm doomed. Thoughts? Also, I was wondering what you would suggest for some heavy hitting characters. I see all the named dudes, but I don't know if there are any worth running. So let's cover the first point. So yeah, melee for Necrons. If you follow my channel, you know I do like doing a bit of melee with Necrons, and the main reason for that is I like to be different, really, because Necrons generally are a shooty army. I think just having a bit of going for an assault is a bit more of a surprise. So you mentioned your Wraiths. Yeah, I mean, Wraiths are probably one of the better ones, to be fair.
But I'd say flayed ones, but you'd want maybe hide them in a building and have them in a place where they can counter assault, and not have them out in the open. So that your opponent's thinking twice. I might hit that unit, but then I'm going to get counter assaulted, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah, I think the key thing here is. You mentioned you're doomed if basically an assault army gets into you.
Yeah, your problem is Necrons aren't really an assault army.
They've never been, and whenever, I mean, it's always been the same. You know, if any of my units get into assaults, they're knackered basically. Yeah, it is a big problem. However, I think the way to deal with the Necron assault army, playing an Necron assault army, so if you had Scarabs, Wraiths, Flayed ones, you know, the assault units that we have, potentially Light Guard.
I'd put Seraptic in that with that, because that's got, what, 18, I think?
It's, very good.
On the limbs, 18 attacks. That wipes through half a unit in a Horde army quite quickly. So, and if you're shooting, and if you're playing a shooting Necron army against a melee, I would use Tomb Blades, Destroyers, anything that can fly, so you can fall back, still shoot. I would have Scarab screens and either the Wraiths or the counter assault flayed ones.
I don't know whether I'd recommend a Seraptic for someone just starting out though.
No,
necessarily. But I think the thing to bear in mind is, whilst Necrons can do assault,
it's not.
They're not an assault army. They're not going to wreak absolute havoc in your enemy's army, but they can cause a lot of problems and distractions, and they can help towards you winning the mission objectives. I think that's the key thing.
Your race will hold units up, especially ones that can't fall back and shoot again and things like that.
And you know, the new Primaris Marines Wraiths are great against them. You know, 2 wounds, we do 2 damage. You know, you've got the -2 AP.
It's horses for courses, and I mean, I like the look of the flayed ones, and if you can get them into melee, they hurt. It's just maybe a points drop, and maybe an increase on squad size would actually be brilliant for them, and because to see a load of them just coming at you, it's scary.
I'd love to get my 60 flayed ones back on the table. Hopefully one day it will happen. But regarding your character question, again, it's a similar thing. I think that the Necron characters just aren't really that beefy. They're more of a support role than anything.
I mean, I would go with Imitek, not because he's necessarily very good in melee, but that ability to do mortal wounds to multiple units within 6 inches of each other. You're dropping down and cutting away those units. Again, with a melee, if you're playing a melee army that can get a first turn assault out, I would set back, like just out, give them maybe tempt them with an 11-inch charge, but not give them that first turn easy charge. Make sure, if you've got the board for it, make sure that everything is all charges are at least 11 inches.
It just gives yourself a breathing space, basically. But also, what I do sometimes is I just feed units as well. You know, just feed them in a unit, so you know they're going to assault it. You know you're going to lose the unit, but you control your opponent's assaults.
It's about playing the missions. use your terrain. If you can get up on the level where you take up all that level and they can't get up to assault you, again, they're not going to do that. They're going, and don't let them hug you. Don't let them wrap around. So if you've got a squad of 5 warriors and you know there's likely we're going to get assaulted,
yeah, make sure
don't spread them out. Put them in a circle because they can't wrap round. Well, if you spread them out, when they pile in and consolidate, they will wrap one. They will charge, kill that unit, consolidate and pile into the second one, and wrap around the single character. But if you've got them in multiple little blobs, little circles, even if they pile in and consolidate, they can't wrap the whole unit. So that means that unit can fall back and they can be shot.
Yeah.
So you're looking at little tricks and tips like that to make it as hard for a melee based unit to get to you. But volume of shots is where I'd be. And not shot after shot after shot, because it doesn't matter what melee army it is.
Yeah,
they're going to fail their saves.
It's a bit like our game, although it didn't happen, but my plan was I basically put my Praetorians out for your Wolven to assault, and then I thought, well, if they wipes them out, you're going to be standing there, and then I'll have like my Doomsday Arcs and my Immortals and everything to shoot you, basically. So it's like trying to control your opponent's assault. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for that question. Thank you. Everyone's got one by it. Oh no,
so that's one day.
Right, okay. Okay, so I've just realised on my notes here that everyone doesn't have a 1 after their channel name. It's my thing that says 1 day ago, and there's no space, so apologies. Right, so the next question is from Thomas Spence, not Thomas Spence 1, and he says, what is the best destroyer squad size and composition? Is it worth running a heavy destroyer and a group of destroyers, or is it better to run them separately? And he says, I love your videos, Nick. Keep up the great work. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, I think this is pretty simple to answer, really. The more the merrier. So, as big a squad as you can get. Ideally, 6, the maximum. I always try to play 6.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would probably run 3 lots of 6.
Yeah.
Because of what they do.
Yeah. I mean, any unit that I can't take the maximum in, whether that's Wraiths or Scarabs or anything, any unit that I can't take the maximum, I think that's not quite right.
No, I mean, to me, to get maximum effectiveness out of the destroyers, you have to run the whole squad. Whole squad,
and definitely no heavy destroyer.
No.
If you're using the stratagem extermination protocols, then you just want to make. I mean, you could do more damage with a normal Gauss cannon, but other than the heavy Gauss cannon.
Yeah, but the Gauss cannon's what, strength 6?
Strength 6, yeah.
And minus
3. Yeah.
So even against vehicles, you're wounding on 5. So it's not bad.
No.
I mean, with the hatred and with the extermination protocol, you're going to get plenty through. So I don't think the one-shot heavy destroyer is worth the points. It's not to me.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Easy question, that one.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so the next question is from Andrew Krinebrink, and he says, when going up against Psychers, what do you recommend? So, Richard, you like playing Psychers, don't you?
I love Psychers. Especially if I'm coming up against Wraiths. Mortal wounds are your friend.
Terrible. So, yeah, this is not really a tough one, because ultimately there's not too much you can do. I think ultimately you've got to have Scarab Swarms in your army.
They're the cheapest screen you've got, soak up mortal wounds.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we do have Gloom Prisms. I think if Gloom Prisms were unlimited range, so you could hide your spider and maybe help deny, a power, but the fact that they're 24 inches, Team Spiders will go down quite quickly, and I think you're putting more points into an area that you can't really.
Yeah, I think that should be re-looked at. A gloom prism, part of the rules, shouldn't have to pay for it, and it should be at least 48 inches. So I mean, it then gives you because even though most psychic powers are only 24, they're going to shoot the spiders off the table so they can get there.
Yeah, no, exactly. So ultimately, I think what you need to do is almost ignore the fact that your opponent's got psychic powers to some degrees.
Yeah.
I think you definitely have to protect from smite.
Smite.
Anything that really does the mortal
smite,
wounds.
jinx, death hex, and null zone from the Space Marines. They're the ones you really want to avoid, or any other one that does mortal wound output. But
and obviously placement of your models. So if you do have a squad of wraiths and there's the psyker over that side, then obviously go over this side of the table. When you've got Magnus, for example, coming right in your face, it's hard to deal with that. Sometimes you just have to accept it and just run with it and play the mission.
Yeah, you again play the mission. I would probably take a crypt deck with a veil close to some destroyers, and then clear the screen around the psyker, drop your destroyers in, and blow the psyker out of the water. It's
death marks.
Yeah, if he's bringing it in from reserve, or he's moving it with some ability like the Chaos have the Dark Crystal Matter, which allows them to be moved off the table. Then your death marks can come in and counter.
And the only trouble is if you start putting points into units specifically to do that, especially if you're going up against a clever player, he won't leave that gap for you to get him.
No.
I think ultimately you're better off really probably not trying to defend the psychic power too much.
Yeah,
just play the mission, make sure you got scarabs.
Except that a psychic heavy army is going to cause you problems.
Yeah.
But if you kill the screens, get to the psyker, you let your scarabs soak up the pressure. Maybe have a spider there because the spider gives you extra bases.
Only if the new rule now is only if you get models killed, scarabs die.
Yeah.
You can beef up the unit back up again. Yeah. It's very short range, and if the spider rolls a 1, he takes D3 mortal wounds. It's just not in a great place. I personally would not necessarily, apart from taking scarabs, I don't think I'd do much more.
No, it's just an option of maybe how many can you get? 6 in there? Or
what, in scarabs?
Yeah,
9.
Then I'd maybe look at, can I afford to run 3 lots of 9 and you just move them up, have them spaced, move them up, and say to your opponent, you've got to do 27 mortal wounds to each unit to get to the stuff you want to get to.
Yeah, I think the answer is scarabs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for this episode. However, we do have a lot more questions, so there's going to be more episodes coming very soon on the channel. So, if you're not subscribed yet, start now. Hit the IDICBeer icon. And if you want to see some of my other Necron Tactical videos, then check out that playlist right over Richard's face. Beam me up.